So hi everyone, welcome. This is the second session of CLO Academic Month. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming. It's always so nice to see people from all over the world. Every week to November 15, every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Europe time, we will be inviting schools to talk about how they've implemented CLO to their curriculum. We have so many different topics. I will tell you all about it very soon. Before that, let me just introduce myself. My name is Fernanda. I'm the academic lead at CLO Europe. I joined CLO in 2021 as a 3D designer specialist because my background is in fashion design, and my work is to support schools when implementing CLO. So if you need any support with implementation, or if you need training for the professors or licenses, please get in touch. You can write to us. It will be a pleasure to help you. And today with me, we have Audi from Willem de Kooning Academy from the Netherlands, Christel Arnevik from Design School Kolding from Denmark, and also Dr. Tanya from University of Ljubljana, Slovenia. They will be telling us how they've joined forces to create a 3D fashion program and apply for Erasmus Plus funding. Before we start, let me just tell you a bit about the academic month. So the idea of the academic month is to give the stage to schools. We have so many incredible successful cases, how schools implemented CLO to their curriculum, and we think this needs to be shared. We started last week talking about pattern making. We had Istituto Secoli from Italy showcasing how they implemented CLO to their pattern making classes. We know how important this topic is for our fashion course and the industry. This week, we will talk about Erasmus Plus funding. It's going to be a bit different. This session, it's more like an interview. They will tell us how they've applied for the funding and also all the process from the creation of the idea till the application process. On next week, November 1st, we have the Arts University Bournemouth talking about shape, not size. So here we will have the professor Penelope Norman showing her research about how the customization of avatars can improve sustainability, inclusivity, and fit. And they will also talk about how they are implementing CLO at the school. Next, we have November 8th, implementation from scratch with the German International University from Cairo. They will showcase how they created the CLO classes and how they've applied it to the curriculum. They will also share how they've created interdisciplinary projects with other classes to foster 3D and new technologies. And last, on November 15, we have Real Meets Digital. We will hear from Hanover University of Applied Science and Arts how they digitized the garment from a duke from the 16th century. So the garment that you're seeing on this image was done in CLO, and it was a piece from a museum. They will share with us all the process, how they digitized and created this garment in CLO. So you see, we have many different topics. Join us every Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. Central Europe time. And if you'd like to present next year in the academic month, please let us know. It will be a pleasure to have you here showing the work you've been doing with the software. So that's all for now. Let's invite to the stage Audi, Christel, and Dr. Tanya. Christel, why don't you start by introducing yourself, and then after we start with the questions.
Thank you very much, Fernanda. Yes, hello everyone. It's very exciting to be here. And my name is Christel Arnevik, and I am the head of fashion or program manager at Design School Kolding and a teacher. I have worked in CLO 3D since 2018 and made sure it was implemented at the Design School Kolding. I'm one of from the partner organization of this MIUAS.
My name is Altje van Meer. I'm from the Netherlands, from the Willem de Kooning Academy in Rotterdam. And I'm a senior lecturer. I am actually leading what we call at the Willem de Kooning the stations. My background is in interactive media, and if you are curious what's behind me on my back, this is work of one of the students who is working in the MIUAS project, and I am actually representing a whole team of teachers. So I'm working closely together with Annette Gijs, who is the head of fashion, and with Nadina Molenkamp, who is actually leading the fabric station. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Hi, my name is Tanja Nuša Kočevar. I'm coming from Slovenia, from Ljubljana, University of Ljubljana, Department of Textile Design and Graphics Art. I'm assistant professor teaching digital design. My background is also fashion and textile design. I did my master's in textile design mainly, but now I focus on special digital design, focusing on 3D design, but I'm quite new in CLO 3D. So I'm glad to hear everything about CLO 3D and try to give that knowledge also to my students.
That's fantastic, Tanya. Thank you. Let's start. So, what is the MIUAS project about?
So the MIUAS project is an EU-funded project, and it's between School Kolding, Willem de Kooning Academy in the Netherlands, and the University of Ljubljana in Slovenia. These three fashion universities have gone together with associated partners from around the world. Some are locally found and some are internationally found. And they're huge importance to the knowledge we need to have in order to say, well, what is the state of the art, where are we at, what is the field we're dealing in. The whole project is about, there are kind of several strands in it. And what we wanted to do was to make some use for digital tools. So it's for meaningful, creative and responsible design through inclusion, diversity and for green transition. So every time we implement or want to use digital tools, it has to be with either inclusion, diversity, and a green transition, or all three or two of them in this build-up. And also, it's very much to strengthen the European fashion students' competencies and job possibilities, and that's both nationally and internationally. So it's to strengthen. We are going to make 9 course modules where we implement the digital tools in a Bachelor of Fashion program. And we're going to build a library from where it's open source library from where both educators and students can find material for the educators to build or implement into an existing fashion bachelor program, or for students to be inspired from other students from this project here. So it's this project runs for 3 years, and we have just finished the first year. We had a presentation of the first development in September, and the module where University of Ljubljana had the lead was about virtual prototyping. And then if you look at it horizontally, you can see that you got virtual prototyping, and then University of Ljubljana made one course module, Willem de Kooning Academy did another, and Design School Kolding did the third one. And it was all about virtual prototyping and how it can be implemented into the schools. Now we're on the second year, and it's body scanning. It's about size, measurements, and shapes. So I'm very much looking forward to that presentation next week. And we have the lead at Design School Kolding, and then also at the 2 other universities, they're going to make their take on this topic. And in order for us to really be able to try and test the last one, that's about virtual reality, augmented reality, AI, we're going to start developing already here after, well, in January, February, we're going to start developing that. And there we have Willem de Kooning with the lead, and then UL and DSKD would also make their take on the same. We're going to do it with the pedagogical approaches with focus on progression, train the trainers' skills, knowledge and competencies. And that means that we build on each. So starting out with implementing virtual prototyping, then the next step is that we know the students now stand on this here, and it's going to be the same students going through the 3 years. So now we know exactly what they know about virtual prototyping. Now the next is body scanning, and once they've done that, we build on like that. Train the trainer is that we make sure that the educators within each school knows about these new tools, and that their skills, knowledge, and competence are built as we go along. I'll show you just 3 examples from what we have achieved this year. This is from University of Ljubljana. This is from Willem de Kooning, and this is from Design School Kolding. And what we have done within each university is that we have made some tutorials that would be the kind of tutorials we would show, or the way we show it in education in our each individual institution. It's very important for us also that we bear in mind that it has to fit into our own university. Therefore, also there might be slight differences in the way we approach it, because it's 3 different cultures. So not just cultures from the national education, but also from the educational cultures. This is where we are at right now. As you can see, we have year 2. We have finished our presentation. We have started the body scanning. And now in February, we're going to start the final one and have a presentation later from that. And there will be, there's possibilities to sign up through our websites as well for a newsletter. Yes, and I think I'll just stop sharing this one here.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Thank you. And I think everyone could see already how you organize each work package. I believe this is already part of the application process. And now, like, my next question is about how the 3 of you met.
Yeah, so at this Design School Kolding, we have worked with sustainability for more than 20 years, and the researchers constantly try to find new ways of making progress and making it the education relevant through sustainable approaches as well. And so our PhD Ulla Rebitz, she was saying, why don't we just try and make use of the digital tools from that point as well? So we reached out to Ljubljana, where we know the Professor Elena Veit. She has previously been an exchange student at Design School Kolding. So we thought, okay, we can see if they would be up for it. And then also when I went to the first academic class in Munich in 2018, there was a whole huge group from Willem de Kooning, and so I knew that they had started at the same time. And also a former colleague of mine at Design School Kolding had gone and worked there. So we had some contacts, some ways in to say, would you like to be up for this? And both universities seemed very interested. At the University of Ljubljana, they had not yet started implementing a CLO 3D or the equivalent, but they have worked very much with a lot of other digital tools, and they were interested in taking part of this. And then at Willem de Kooning, we know it's a much bigger institution than we are at Kolding. So we thought perhaps it would be a good group dynamic with big muscles, and really, like the muscles we have and the very eager muscles they have at Ljubljana as well to push this forward. So and all this came about during the pandemic. So all our meetings in the beginning were online, and we were trying to understand each other, what's your culture like? And, when you hear something, you start getting ideas about what it's like, and it's not necessarily the right idea you get, but then you just keep talking about what the different cultures are like in the different institutions. So we knew some people already, but the big group we did not know at all, and we started out online.
That's fantastic, and I love to hear that you also met in one of our academic workshops. And for the ones who doesn't know, we run many academic workshops dedicated to professors. If anyone is interested, it's always good to join our newsletter to know more about it. We always have many schools together learning on how to use CLO. So yeah, I found it fantastic to know about it. Let's jump to the next question. So What is Erasmus Plus and how to apply it? I think many people that are here today wants to know about this.
Okay, so the Erasmus Plus is, I mean, there are various areas within the Erasmus Plus. It can be exchange of educators, it can be exchange of students, and it's all within the EU. And then it's also what we are doing here, that we have a project we're running together, and there has to be at least 3 countries present in an Erasmus Plus, 3 countries that is within the EU in this case. And we applied for what they call a Key Action 2 project, where there's a lump sum, you get a lump sum of money to develop and to develop the, and it's very much with the focus of education, students, young people, and like that. And we applied for this 3-year funding to develop educational material. Sometimes it's the project could be also about research instead, but in this case we're doing artistic research. So we are doing and getting knowledge, and then that knowledge we put forward to so others can see. So everything is open source, and we have made an application where we tell about what is our goal, what is our methods, what do we want to get out of it, and how do we want to assess what we get out of it. So it's a very, very thorough process, where well described both in the end goals, how to get there, but also to assess if we got where we wanted to get in the first place. So, and how to apply in the more, now let me just say one thing as well, that you can also, because I can see we do also have participants from outside Europe, and there are also projects where you collaborate with partners from outside EU as well, just so you know that is done as well. And but otherwise, how to apply? So we had the call so the EU puts out a call, and then you have to find the one that's the one you can that makes sense for you to apply under. And then we applied together. We set up online on a platform, possibly Google Drive or something like that, where we could share our views. We had many meetings, and then we so that is how to apply in the shorter sense. I think you have a couple of questions more dedicated.
Jump to the next one then, about the process. What I see with other schools, and that's why this question is here, is that some schools have a huge department with many people helping, others are smaller, and it depends a lot on the professor. So I think it would be super nice to understand like how many people were involved in the application process, because I know we have 3 of you representing the schools, but we know that in this project there's so many other people involved, and if you had a help from a specialist.
For the writing the application, we are 3 partners, these 3 higher education institutions you see presented here, and each of us have 2 in each partner group, so 6 in all. And then we had a professional helping us, because at Design School Kolding we found out that we are very fortunate to have a professional helping us out with the funding, or at least we found out that I don't think that they have the 2 other universities. So we had somebody who's there to do simply help with the applications, and it was I can't imagine going through it without somebody telling you, now you need to do this, and now from knowing from experience what to do, because it was quite what the specialist did for us. He did it very palatable. So he said, now you need to write about this here. Okay, and we got together and we wrote each individual institution, and we got together and talked about what we've written. So it's a lot of alignment going on all the time. And then, at least I was naive enough to think, yes, I've done this. And then he would go, no, you need to write about this. Okay, we can do that too. And then, but he was sort of layering it for us, so we didn't have to sort of feel overwhelmed in the beginning. towards the end, I must say personally, I was like, how many more slices of this are you going to get us? Because it kept coming every time we delivered. But so we would write and we would align, and then we would write and on methods, methodology, research, state of art, what is the industry like right now, what is out there, and so on and so on. And while we're doing this as well, what we did, we also had, before we wrote the application, we also contacted all the associated partners that we would like to work with, because we also wanted to hear input from them to see, okay, what's in the field, what's out there for us, how can you help us, are you interested at all in helping us? So that was very important too. And then of course, you might also have to go back and talk to some of your other teachers and what they know and so on. But at the actual writing, it was like the 6 of us and the 7th being the specialist. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so you had help from someone from the school that knew kind of the process. About timing, how long did it take from the idea, from the concept, till you get the positive answer?
Yes, so from the initial idea, that started in autumn 2020, but again, with the pandemic and things take time within education. So from that until we got the positive answer, we got that in August of 22. But I would like to tell you also, so if I break that up for you, I would say that by June 2021, we had a positive feedback from both Ljubljana and from Willem de Kooning. And from that on, we started slowly. That was just before the summer holiday, and that is something we found out. We have summer holidays at a very different time of the summer. That was before the summer holiday, and then we had the whole of the autumn of 21 to sort of get to know each other a little bit and online. And actually, the University of Ljubljana, they intended to come and visit Design School Kolding in October of 21, but again, because of the pandemic, we had to cancel that. But in January 2022, the call came from the EU, and from that on, and then till the deadline was on March 23. So we had 2.5 months approximately to make this application, and it was very busy towards the deadline. Definitely was, with a lot of forth and back and aligning and making sure we had covered everything. And also, I mean, this could be with everything you want to develop, but in this very field where we are jumping onto a train that's running, and it's sort of taking us places that we had no idea where it could go. But so also we had to keep the application quite sort of distinct, but also open to see the possibilities that could arise along the way. And I mean, now just only with the rise of AI, the visual AI has been like really exponentially fast. You know, we could not have foreseen that when we started out, but we still knew we wanted to work with AI in one way or another. So we kept it sort of tight but open as well.
I remember you saying that one of the requirements was to have the 3 universities together, right? This is an information that I didn't know, so I think it's also important to share with the audience that when you apply for Erasmus Plus, it's important to have three schools.
It's very important to look into the different approaches that can be done within the EU Erasmus Plus funding, because there are many ways around this. And there's also possibilities of having companies as partners as well. So the best thing is to really look into what are the possibilities. If you're a company, how can you then seek the funding, and how is it done? Because there's not just one way. That's very important to say. But in the sense that you had to have 3 partners, we could have had more partners. And I would also say that the partners, the different difference, if I can just state that as well, difference between a partner and an associated partner is that the money follows the partner, and a company can also be a partner. So so that is the main difference in the being a partner and being an associated partner. What I have also heard from the Danish body of EU funding is that it could be a bit fragile, only being 3 from the start. Now, we're very lucky, we get on very well, we are developing great stuff together. But if one university or one partner, for whatever reason, will have to step out of the program or project, you will have to find another one, because it has to be 3, and then another one will have to take over and deliver the things that were already agreed. So it's just something to, I mean, they think we were sort of a bit living on the edge, I think, by only being 3, but we're hopeful.
Really valuable insights about the process. Now I've already added the question, what are the main challenges about the application process and the project itself?
I would say the main challenges of applying is definitely time. It is time consuming, and it can add to the amount of hours you're doing already by teaching. So that is definitely something to be aware of, that in this window that's open from, in our case, the call came early January, and then 2.5 months later, we had to deliver, that it's good to know that you have got somebody who can actually put aside the time, because it does take a long time to write it. I don't know if I can say it's a challenge, because I think we are, as I said, we are really privileged. We're doing very well, but I would definitely recommend that people go and visit each other's universities when possible. Again, it was during the pandemic, so we had to do it online and try through PowerPoints and words to explain each individual universities. And now in spring, we went to visit University of Ljubljana, and twice we have been gathered in Denmark, and in spring we'll go to Rotterdam, to Willem de Kooning, and so it wasn't a huge challenge, but I'll definitely recommend people to visit each other as well, to understand very well from the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, that's great. Audi or Tanya, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I think what Crystal was mentioning, indeed, you can do great work online, and I think we did. So we found a way to share our experiences and have regular meetings. And yeah, what Crystal is saying, I think we are able to collaborate very well. But indeed, all this, like working online, you can do as much. So the times when we were meeting each other in Ljubljana and in Kolding, it was so great, because, and then you get so much more work done, because there are these little misunderstandings when you are working online, and so it's great to be able to see each other. And the other thing is, I think, indeed, it is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. So, but I think the power of our application and about our project is that we actually develop education which is needed and which is part of, so we're working actually on a curriculum. So it's very valuable. And yeah, that's also what I wanted to add, is that we started from the beginning to involve our colleagues. So it's me and Nadine working on the text and writing the application, but at the same time we were involving teachers in the process, and that really helps. That there is that they from the beginning were supporting the project, and that it's also valuable for them as well.
I agree 100%. And as you said, yeah, it is time consuming, but everything that we create is time consuming, right? And I think the end goal is super important. Like the MIU asked is to create a curriculum for fashion education in 3D. So I think the outcome will be greater than the time that unfortunately we need to dedicate. Are there any recommendations and tips for future applicants?
When we started, we didn't know our languages. I think that was quite an issue that we had to overcome, because we didn't know what we are talking about exactly. As Alja said, working online is great, but sometimes understanding each other online is quite difficult. So when we aligned our language, our terms, our cultural issues, then it was much easier. So maybe set at first what exactly would you like to do, and communicate the basics between us. I think that would be something that would be very useful at the beginning. What we would like to achieve, how do we do individually at higher institutions, and maybe if we said this before, I don't know what Crystal and Alja mean about that, maybe we won't spend so much time just talking and so on. But it was something new for us in Ljubljana, because we didn't know CLO 3D. So that was something that we had to catch upon a little. So it was maybe much more difficult for us. Luckily, we were able later on to to get another colleague who she knows everything about CLO 3D, and she was really very, very useful. But before, when we making an applications, we didn't know much about CLO 3D. So really basics, communication, I think that with good communication that we could start better. But we just had to set our terms and our kind of basic terms in education, how we educate, how we are planning our year, how we are planning our curriculum, and so on. So that would be a tip for the future applicants.
That's fantastic. And I think it's also super valuable that actually you three were in different stages in the implementation process. Have University of Ljubljana on their first year implementing, I think it adds so much, because it's always important to remember that there are different stages. Talking about positive impacts. What are the positive impacts of this project to the school itself and also to the academic community? Whoever wants to reply.
Oh, yeah, now you all. Would you like to start, Crystal?
Why don't you start and I will add
anything. Okay, good. Yeah, I think there are many positive impacts of this project. Yeah, the main thing I think is that we are able to improve our curriculum, because in my case, in my school, there's always limited time in educational development, because you're busy teaching. There's always limited time in preparation, that kind of things. And this project gives us the possibility to really rethink our education. So that's the main positive impact. And it also gives us the possibility to professionalize our staff, because I think, they're not only CLO, but a lot of other digital tools are coming up, and we really need to engage with these tools, and we have now the possibility to do so. And by professionalizing ourselves, we, of course, give students the opportunity to learn these tools, and we give them a better, I think we give them the tools to,
I would say keep up with the industry. What is going on in the industry?
And maybe a part of the project is also that we ask the students what they think about the project. So maybe I can share a movie of students actually reflecting on the
That would be
project.
amazing. Yes.
So I'm trying to share my screen with you. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes, here it is.
Discovered within this project, which I definitely am going to use in the future, is the translation from digital designing to physical and vice versa, because a digital fashion is something that is important now and will be even more important in the future. But also it is a really useful tool just to design in general. And even though I always was a lot more of an analog designer, through this project, which is something I never expected to sort of end up as a conclusion from this project. But through it, I realized how important it is within my designing and how useful it can be.
What I discovered is that the 3D dimensions on a human body of like clothing can become so interesting and so sculptural. It goes even like beyond my own capabilities that I have right now in the real world. And using an online tool is really helpful with that, because I don't have to go out, buy fabrics and use all of that to try to create this 3D dimension, but I can just already start working on it, taking stuff out, bits and pieces, putting bits and pieces back together and using like smaller details to create a contrast. And that's something that I really enjoyed doing. And that's also like one of the things that I will really take away from it.
Yeah, that's amazing to see the students talking about it. Thank you so much for sharing, Audrey. Yes. Would anyone else like to add? We can jump to the next question. No, I think, Christelle, I think you had something to add, no? Let me add here. What are the positive impacts of this project to the school and to the academic community?
I think the positive impact, and I'm more there with what Al just said, but also at least it does strengthen it's strengthened what each school can do, but also to the whole academic community. It also puts in place what we can do as fashion education. So if you look at digital tools, often or digital fashion is used for only online, but we actually, because we are fashion designers, we can link the two. We have both the physical, as also the students say, the physical and the digital world. We make sure what how it's strengthened is that the fashion academic community is strengthened through this. I think that they can find a platform, and other institutions, whether they already use Clo 3D or whether they will go ahead and do it, can now in this open source see at least examples of how we are doing it and make use of it and get hopefully back to us. And altogether we get that much cleverer and good at the things we're doing.
Great, thank you. Tanya, would you like to add anything, or should we jump to the next question, which is very similar? Yes. Actually, what is the added value to each school?
I think that we gained a lot of benefits through this project, of course. We just, maybe very important things, we encouraged creativity on different ways to our students. I think that this is very, very important. Not just creativity in the sense of digital design, but also other ways of working on the clothing design, or communicating on very different areas, because they had to do and present in first year of fashion design that module, that project, which was quite intense. And we really started to use CLO 3D this year. We didn't do this previous years. We used CAD/CAM system for textile design, but not for fashion design. And that is a really big thing for us, a very big benefit for our school, that we started to use digital tool for fashion design. And it's really something new for our school. So this is a great opportunity for all students, not only to these students involved in the project, but also others in master's degree or doctor degree, because they see now how students work with these tools, and they would like to try it, they would like to develop their things. And I think that we make quite a big step in this digitalization in design process and curriculum as well.
That's great. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Christelle or Audrey, would you like to add?
The staff and the students are lifted, and they get to know more about this. And then, of course, also the added value is to show that you can really, as one of the students said as well, minimize the waste you're using when you want to be creative, and you can test things, and you can, so it's very much about also the sustainable approaches and how that adds value to each school, but very much also lifting both students and the staff. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's important indeed to also emphasize so we are exploring these digital tools, but also in regarding to sustainability, inclusivity and diversity. And so it's not only about the tools, but it is about how these tools actually change the field, change the profession of fashion and beyond, stretch the field maybe, but also really makes us rethink what fashion is about. And I think that's all in the mix, you know. So I think that is that's really the added value. And then indeed to have the time to go into depth into these subjects. And always from this creative approach. And it's great to see that students are able to use these tools creatively. You know, it's not about the tools, it's about their creativity and what they do with it and what kind of impact they have with what they make.
Yeah, 100%. I can't agree more. We come now to the last questions, then we will check the chat, the questions that we have. So feel free, everyone, to add if you have more questions. We'll have a look at them just after this one. I think everyone wants to know at what stage is the project now.
I'll just share my screen. So work package. So it's called work packages by the EU. So that's why we go with it. And rather confusingly, the second work package we're working on is actually called 3, but that's because the work package 1 is all the administrative work that runs through all the 3 years. So our work package 3 is about you. So whereas the virtual prototype and implementation was about me, I can just do whatever I want. Then you, it's about there is actually an end user out there, and how can we address that? It's about body scan, inclusion and diversity. Sustainability runs through it all, but these are the highlighted focus areas we have in this very work packages. So it's all about size and measurements, sustainability, inclusion and diversity. And we had a workshop just in September. Everybody got together, lots of staff came from both Ljubljana and Rotterdam, and we were all together for 4 days in Denmark, where we talked about how do we work with size and shapes, and what do we present to our students. So this might very well be what we present, because it's definitely some of the things we have at Design School Kolding. And we talked about, okay, what are the companies and what do they look into, the sizes and the grading. And then this is just an example from a previous student at Design School Kolding who was like saying, why do I have a dress mannequin that doesn't look like a person? And she then found somebody to make her own dress mannequin from. So those were the things we were talking about. It's like, how can we work towards inclusion and diversity from a point of view with size and shape and body scanning. And so this is the overall. We have the end user in mind. We need to understand how we can make this production more democratic as well, with less waste and customization perhaps. These are the ideas we have now when we walk into it, and with any creative process, we will be the wiser once we have turned in this stone and found out how we can do it. And yes, we will develop the courses in collaboration, and we will use some methods and theory, and we will use the tools that go with it. We went for a body scan of the, like, if you haven't tried it yourself, you might have tried it possibly in the airport or something like that. It's very fast with the scan, but of course today the scanning with the LiDAR on the newest phones might work as well for some of the purposes. So those are the things we also look into. So this was the workshop, and we had a webinar in the middle of the workshop, because we wanted to show where we were at, the process and the progress. We wanted to show it to whoever could see it, but also so we had it recorded for ourselves and to share with the teachers who couldn't necessarily come along for the workshop. I just want to tell you, these are the reoccurring elements in every course module we do. So there's the trainer, so it's training trainers in close 3D, now in this case in body scanning. Then each institution will go to each institution and develop the module that fits with their curriculum, their existing curriculum. And then we get together and we show what we've done, what our thoughts are, and then we give feedback and feed forward to each other. And once we've done that, we develop the final content and material, and we run the course to finally, so we actually execute the course module. So the same students that did the first will also have the second and the third, and we get feedback from students, we get feedback from teachers and for associated partners. And then we finalize what was needed, what from the feedback and the feed forward, is anything we need to change here. And then we have a final presentation with partners, associated partners, stakeholders, could be you participating here, where you see where we're at and what we have achieved at that point. So that is where we're at for now. We're in the middle of development, and we'll meet up in November and show what we have, where we're at right now, and then we'll take it from there. But I would also like to show our website. I'm going to say that online thing. Can you see my screen? Can you see my web? Can you see the website? Good. Good. Right. So this is so the project is a work in progress, and so is the website very much as well. One thing I found was quite funny when we wanted a website as soon as we could, but we realized we couldn't have a website without content. So we had to wait a little bit. And once we had the content, then now that was our first prototype, you could say, of the website. And now we found out, oh, okay, some things could be better, and some things could work in a different way than what they do right now. On this website, you can read about the project. You can see about the course modules we have made so far, and you can see, I mean, in this case here, you see that this is clickable and this is not, because this is, of course, this is going to be done later. This is going to be up next year, and so is the final one here. But what you can do, you can see, you can go to the module through up here, but also you click there, and then you can see that University of Ljubljana, they had the lead, and this is theirs. And then we have the Willem de Kooning and Design School Kolding. And it's work in progress. So if you look at it now and come back to it, you will see that things will change and come back to it. The content will not change, it's just the way you navigate it. So for each university has made a course description that is describing, you can say the why are we doing this, and then it's also how we are doing it. So there's a plan as well. And then there is and these things can be, you click, opens up, and you can download it or print it, whatever, keep it digital if you want, and you can see exactly all the ideas we had behind each course module, where it's situated in the curriculum, what is the level of the students, what did they know when they started this course, and so on. Exactly the same here we have for the Willem de Kooning Academy with the course description. Again, exactly the same we have here for the Design School Kolding. Why are we doing it? How are we doing it? And then there will be, in this case, student reflections of some of the interviews you saw here, where we have a written student reflection. You'll also see once you open this that in this case, all the courses are not of the same length because it had to fit to the existing curriculum. So if I'm not mistaken, but I think that the University of Ljubljana was a 5-week course, and then the Willem de Kooning had an 8-week course, and the Design School Kolding was a 2-week course that was part of a 9-week course in all. But all that is written, you can read about it all. Then we also have our own the tutorials we made, you find on YouTube, where we have this channel, and it's, I mean, CLO 3 has got so many of us. How do I do a button? How do I do a buttonhole? All of those things we have not covered yet. We have covered what we will do in the class, because we don't need to add to that huge, vast amount of educational tutorials. We are adding from the point of our course model here. Then there's also, you can see the library, and then you can see we have here the categories. If you only want to see the course descriptions, if you lesson plans, and so on. Student projects, you get to see all the student projects here. You can go by the individual universities as well, and see exactly what you want, and click on. That was the one that was shown before, so I can click on this, and it says a little bit about it here. So yeah, so this is where we are right now, using the digital tools to add value. Together with our associated partners, we work on the next level, and you can feel very free to sign up to our newsletter. We don't spam with a lot of newsletters, but a newsletter could be like an event or where we're at right now. So feel free to sign up if you feel like that. Yes, and I think that was it for the sharing here.
I recommend signing up to the newsletters, because you will always get to know about where they are at, and they always invite for some open sessions, which are super interesting. The last one I participated, and we have so many people from the academia, from the industry, so I think it's very valuable to sign up for the newsletter. We have actually one question that it's very similar. We have 3 questions that are very similar, actually, when they are asking if they want to apply for Erasmus Plus, do they need to be associated to an university, or can they apply as an individual?
Not an expert at all this, but I think you do have to be part of a university or part of an organization or part of a company in order to do it. But it could be that you could be, say, joined up to be part of it, in the sense that you don't apply, but you become part of, like, an associated partner instead. Or you could be a partner, but you can't. I mean, as an individual, you don't apply. You apply as an organization. as far as I am. But again, I'm not an expert on all the EU's ins and outs.
And if there are no other questions from the audience, I think that's it. Christelle, yes?
I could be mystified a bit because it can seem like overwhelming, but there are templates to be filled in, and it is very much write about your objectives, write about methods, how are you doing it? And there's, I mean, that perhaps was sometimes a little bit of a challenge for us because there's a limit to how many words you're allowed to write, right? So it's actually, it's not like, and necessarily, if it's not like something you have to write forever on, but you have to write the exact things. So there's a template, and it is doable, but of course, if you have somebody to help you when it's the first time, or even, I mean, if I can just say as well, I think we are all 3 universities, and I don't mind that. I hope that Willem de Kooning and University of Ljubljana don't mind me saying this, but we are all just very happy and got together and did this without ever having tried to do it before. So that says something either for our hopes, or how we just throw ourselves into trying something, hoping we can do this. But of course, what you could do also is to hook up with somebody who actually has tried this before, and you can learn in a gentle way as well, like that. So that could also be a way of doing it.
That's fantastic. Yes, thank you. So I just can say thank you for today. It was such an insightful session. Thank you for sharing, and also for being humble to share with us and with everyone. Thank you also for everyone who joined. Would you like to add anything? Maybe how they can find you?
I'll just say, feel free to reach out, sign up for the newsletter, or contact me directly on email. Then we'll, if there's anything, feel free.
Great. Yes, thank you. Audrey, what about you? Thank you for staying more. I know that you have another event right now. Thank you for staying with us.
No, great to be here. And same as Crystal, if you have more questions, please contact us. And we have events where people can participate in. So and then you get informed via the newsletter. So hope to hear from you.
Great. And Tanya, thank you so much.
Yes, I would like to thank you. Firstly, Fernanda, for inviting us, and our colleagues, Crystal and Alje, for preparing and working on a great project, and also to my colleagues in Ljubljana and to the whole community that supports us, and that we can really work very well in this digital area in sustainability, diversity, and inclusion. So thank you all.
Exactly. No, thank you. It was a huge pleasure. See you in the next MIUA session. I will be there for sure, and hopefully some people of the audience also will join us. So have a nice evening, everyone. Thank you again. Next week, remember, we'll be here again at 5:30 p.m. Central Europe time, talking about shape, not size, with the University of Arts, Bournemouth from the UK.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.